Capitals, hope you're well. So, I don't know if you saw the news today, but OpenAI released a new product. And I don't know whether it's amazing or terrifying. It's probably both. So, if you haven't seen this, it is officially stiff drink time, like we say on the whiteboard videos. You've got to sit down and buckle up for this one. And I am not kidding, because this is going to completely blow you away. And it's going to scare the hell out of you. I can assure you of that. So let's go first and foremost over to CNBC. And we've got Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and tech peers sign pact to combat election-related deep fakes. Now, when AI first became a thing, with all this buzz, you guys know from watching my videos that my biggest concern were these deep fakes. That this right from the beginning, I'm like, okay, I'm not too worried about the whole Terminator thing, but I am really concerned about whether it's spammers, whether it's scammers, whether it's political activists, whether it's the World Economic Forum, the central planners, the authoritarians, taking these videos that seem real. You cannot tell the difference. Well, and I'm going to show you some of the videos that just came out that Sam Altman himself released. The Sam Altman that goes to the World Economic Forum in Davos, by the way, released on his Twitter page. And you are going to be astonished. And let's just think about where they're going to be in 2 months. Let's think about where they're going to be in 2 years. I can assure you that in 2 years' time, you're going to see a video of someone you've known for 25 years, one of your children, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference. There's no way. There's absolutely no chance. So you've got to ask yourself, why would the global elite not use this? Like, are we really going to believe that these bad actors out there, the Malthusian cult members, are going to say, well, my goodness gracious, we could control the world with AI, but that's just, we're not going to cross that line. Come on. Come on. And what's unbelievable is the mainstream media is presenting this, or the central planners themselves are presenting this as though they themselves need to be in control over what you see and what you don't see. Because we all know that Putin or whatever is going to rig the election with this AI, as if our government isn't going to do a thing, as if the left wing of our government isn't going to get involved at all because they're as pure as the driven snow, or as if Bill Gates or as if Mark Zuckerberg or one of these social media companies isn't going to allow some AI deepfakes while at the same time saying that their platform is against all deepfakes. Why would they do it? Just go back to what Twitter was doing prior to Elon Musk. I mean, we know that it was effectively a platform for political activism. So you're telling me moving forward that the Microsoft, the Googles, the Amazons of the world aren't going to come out and say, oh, yeah, we're going to police our platform. We're not going to allow deep fakes. We're not going to allow any political deep fakes. While at the same time, they're secretly not allowing the ones they don't want you to see, or not allowing the real videos of the ones that they want you to see, because they're claiming they're deep fakes. While at the same time, they're allowing you to see the deep fakes, knowing that you'll assume that they're real because they've gone through their stress test or whatever it is, that they came out and said that they're going to police, and therefore you just buy hook, line, and sinker. And I'm talking about you, I'm talking about the mainstream, or the just the average Joe and Jane, the public at large. So let's go through this. A group of 20 leading tech companies on Friday announced a joint committee to combat AI misinformation. Again, why should we trust these people? Give me one reason, based on what we've seen over the past 3 years, that we should trust these leading tech companies. Like, are you kidding me? We've basically found out that they're an extension of the government. The accord was signed by companies like Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon, IBM, Adobe, and chipmaker ARM. The rise of AI-generated content has led to serious election-related misinformation concerns. So you'll notice as they go through this article, what they insinuate is that the only thing that we should be concerned about is the right-wing extremists like Joe Rogan or Russell Brand or the rebel capitalist community, something like that, or the libertarian community. You know, we got to make sure that because we know what those guys like to do. We know their little secrets. We know how devious they can be, as if the mainstream media, as if the central planners and authoritarians are just, nope, we've got our ethical standard and we're not going to cross that line. It's like everything else. The people that say we should police misinformation are the people who spread the most in misinformation. And it's going to be, well, I can't say definitively, but in my opinion, it's going to be the exact same thing here. The people who say they're policing these AI deepfakes are going to be the people that are creating them. And here we go. So Sam Altman, I mean, I don't know the guy, but I know that he goes to he's basically a disciple of Klaus, or he's one of Klaus's lackeys. He goes to all the Davos things. He goes to that secret meetup that they have in London. I forgot what it was called, but it's Chatham, where they have Chatham rules, the Chatham House or something like that, where basically what's said in there, you can't repeat it. And people like Kissinger would go there when he was still around. And Altman would go to these types of groups. I mean, he is right in the middle of the woke left. But anyway, getting back to this, I don't know why we should believe that this person has some sort of altruistic intentions. Now, is the guy a genius? Probably. Can he run a business? Can he create tech? Yeah, absolutely. But why should we believe that he isn't going to have some sort of political bias? I mean, we all do at the end of the day. I do, you do. I mean, that's not really a knock against Sam. We all fall into that category. It's just I can't pull the lever on this technology that could quite literally, and not just change the world. I think that's an understatement. That could quite literally give the central planners the keys to the kingdom. They want to create civil war? Done. Easy. Deep fakes. I mean, you got to think this through. Right? If I'm someone that wants to create civil war, and let's just say it's not the American politicians. Let's say that you believe they have our best interests at heart. How about Xi Jinping? Like, why would you not do this? Like, you look at our military, their military, and let's just assume for a moment, you say, okay, we can't really stack up against the U.S. military, but what we can do is we can create these videos that we know are going to add fuel to the fire, because we know the social situation in the United States is extremely volatile. So let's just do a deep fake of like a George Floyd incident. Now you say, okay, well, it would come out in the mainstream media, right? 2 days later, 3 days later, 3 days later, the damage is already done. And you know what people are going to do? All those people that are rioting out there in this hypothetical, even if they do know that it's a deep fake, they're going to say, so what? We don't care. Because the problem still exists, whether this is a fake video or a real video. Therefore, this just brings it to the surface. It brings it to people's attention. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be rioting in the streets doing exactly what we did in 2020 or 2021. And then on the opposite side, let's say you have a deep fake of some sort of, the border crossing or taking away gun rights or something like that, that would lead to an uprising in the people on the opposite end of the political spectrum. And then you just get these people at their throats, and you do that nonstop, constantly. And I know what you're saying right now. You're saying, oh, George, well, it's since we all know that it's deep fakes, we're going to be much more skeptical about the videos we see. No. That's not the way human nature works. And I'll give you a perfect example. Everyone knows that the news is completely BS. Completely BS. But every single time you see something in the news that confirms your preconceived notions or it confirms your bias, you believe it. I know you do. Because I have the tendency to do the exact same thing. I sit there and say how the every single thing in the mainstream media is a lie until I see something they say that I like. And I've got to check myself. I'm like, whoa, time out here. Because this is the same mainstream media that's lied to me about everything. So why are they not lying to me now? Does it make any difference that they're saying something that I approve of? And every single human being has the tendency to do that. It's why we enjoy movies. Because we have the suspension of disbelief. Suspension of disbelief. If the video is good enough, we know that it's fake, but just the hardwiring in our brain, we think it's real. It's just like why you get so involved with the movie. Let's keep going. And of course, I had this highlighted, and now it's no longer highlighted. All right. Well, I can get to the gist of it. So Microsoft, Meta, Google, all the big tech companies, like we said, they're joining along social media companies like Snap, TikTok, and X. I'm sure TikTok is really going to do their best. A Chinese company to make sure that there's no deep fakes that would lead to any type of social tension in the United States. Come on, who are we trying to kid here? Who are we trying to kid? The tech platforms are preparing for a huge year of elections around the world that affect upward. You know what? Before I go any further, let me go over and show you guys some of these deep fakes. So you know exactly what we're talking about here. Because if you haven't been watching the news, or if you haven't been glued to Twitter, you really don't get. Look at this. That's a deep fake. That lady right there. Everything you see. So you're telling me that if you saw this on YouTube, you would know that's fake? And even if you have some sort of clue right now, think about where this is going to be in 2 years. And this product is so powerful. You know how they did this? They simply just, so what Sam has been doing to illustrate the power of this new AI technology that they came out with is he was literally just saying, hey, send me a tweet, give me some instructions, I'll put it into the tool that I believe they're calling Soma or Soma, and I will post on Twitter exactly what it spits out. So this person, Kate, just tweeted at Sam and said, instructional cooking session from homemade ganoush, or whatever that is, hosted by a grandmother social media influencer set in rustic Tuscan country kitchen with cinematic lighting. That's it. So Sam copied and pasted this instruction, nothing more than this. And that's what we got. But there's a lot more. Look at this. Not that you'd believe this because it's so outrageous, but it shows you just the extent to which you can utilize this tool. Look at this. All that was said, or all the instructions that were given to this OpenAI product, the brand new one that just came out, 2 golden retrievers podcasting on top of a mountain. You're telling, and I realize this, is kind of ridiculous, but look at those dogs. They're totally fake. I mean, this drone stuff on Mars, it's a little ridiculous. I mean, when you look at stuff like this, hey, if I'm working at Pixar, I'm like, holy cow. How quickly am I going to be fired? I mean, that's a whole separate topic. I mean, this is going to, wow. I'm not saying that it, on net balance over the long run, it's going to be good or bad, but the obvious conclusion you have to come to right now, regardless of how terrifying this is how many jobs, this like white collar jobs, this is going to completely eliminate. I mean, just there's no way. Why would you need an animator? Like, why would you need a graphic artist? Why would you need any of these people? And let's go over to the New York Times where they show some other examples like this. All of this was done with this new AI product from OpenAI. So you're making a movie. Think about how many people it would take to do this on a computer to make a movie. And this is simply, it takes literally 30 seconds now. Look at this one. So the prompt was beautiful, snowy Tokyo City is bustling. The camera moves through the bustling city, following several people enjoying a beautiful snowy weather and shopping at nearby stalls. Gorgeous sakura petals. You could have just said Cherry Blossom Festival. Flying through the wind along with snowflakes. Video by OpenAI. Look at this. I mean, it's basically the most incredible drone shot you've ever seen. So now that you kind of get it, the technology, and again, just think how quickly this is progressing and where it's going to be in a year, 2 years, 3 years. Now let's go back to the CNBC article that's talking about all of these tech companies making sure that this AI product or what we have in the future isn't going to be used for malicious purposes. But remember, they're the gatekeepers. And we know from what they've done in the past that not only are they political, but they are more than willing to push a certain political view and to suppress a different view. And let's not forget, most of these people are socialists, communists. They're part of the Malthusian cult, if at the very least just the useful idiots. So what is kind of the premise of communism, or better said, late-stage capitalism? Is that you have to allow this to take its course, but when it does, you've got to tear everything down. You've got to tear society down, and then you've got to give the means of production over to the government, over to the central planners. But you have to allow the capitalists to build it in the first place. Most of these socialists that work these tech companies believe that we are in the phase of late-stage capitalism right now. And the only way that we can improve on society is if we tear it down. Therefore, the means justify the ends. That's what I'm talking about here. So put on your crazy woke hat for a minute and assume you're one of these socialists. You're telling me that if you're in charge of what's being seen as far as these deep fakes, that you're not going to allow a few of them to slip through the cracks? If you think that it's going to achieve a political purpose that you believe is going to improve the state of society moving forward, or hey, about climate change, how about that? You don't think that they're going to allow certain deep fakes, knowing that it's a fake, but they're going to justify it in their head because they're like, we know this is a fake, but it's really describing something that is real. And therefore, we need to let it go. And then any real videos that have a view that's different to that, they're just going to go ahead and suppress those. I mean, this is something that Joseph Goebbels would have dreamed of. This is a whole new level of propaganda. I mean, this is, I think, more powerful than any army, any military, because you can just manipulate society to do whatever you want them to do. Because at the end of the day, we as human beings are very impressionable. And if we're living in a tinderbox that is the United States, that's becoming more and more and more volatile, all you need to do is just light that match, baby. Boom, put it on that fire, and you just sit back and watch the thing burn to the ground. You don't even need to send soldiers. Soldiers? What do we need that for? Guns, missiles, bombs? No, hell no. Hell no. All you need are these deep fakes. And all you need are tech companies that are complicit or have the exact same just perverted worldview that you have. And one of the main reasons that I'm so confident that they're going to use this stuff is because not only have they done it in the past to a certain degree, but also we know that they've been political actors. We know that they're just kind of the right-hand man to the CIA, to the FBI, to the deep state, if you want to call it that. So why should we believe moving forward that the deep state or whomever is pulling the strings isn't going to leverage this the same way that they've leveraged everything else in the past? And you know the way you're going to be able to tell this is because the people who are coming out and talking about how this could cause misinformation, I can assure you, are the people that are going to be using it for misinformation. It's just like it was in 2020 and 21. Every single entity that was coming out and talking about censorship, misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, those were the people that were spreading it to begin with. This is some crazy, crazy stuff. And we are going into some uncharted territories. A lot to think about this weekend, guys. As always, enjoy your weekend. Make sure that you're standing up for freedom, liberty, free market capitalism, free speech, for heaven's sakes. Free speech. That is going to be a huge focus of the next couple years. And the truth, and trying to find the truth. And quite frankly, I don't know how we're going to do that right now. But I can assure you that on this channel, I'm going to try to figure it out. And whatever I find, I'm going to share it with you. We'll see you in the next video.